So did the April debut of my traveling, adventuring, coloring book turn out as planned? Yes and no. Let's find out why. So the beginning of each month, like normal, is the time to review the coloring from the month before. And since I was traveling 2 weeks out of the month, I did a lot in this book. And if you remember from last month, I think I told you what my plans were for this one. Similar to the Europa book from Rita that I had done over the last few years. So if you haven't seen that video, it's on my channel. I'll try to remember to link it below. I think I might have forgot that last time. Sorry about that. But so I have a lot to show you in here. It was a lot of fun, but I want to save it to last because I did get some pages done in 3 other books, but most of the pages were in this one. So let's get these out of the way. Not that they're bad, you know, anyway, but this was my favorite part. So the first page I did was in Wonderful Wildflowers by Johanna Basford, and I just realized that my little marker got knocked off, so that didn't take too long. But this was a color along, or buddy color, excuse me, with Susan from NASA's 351. I think that's what her number is. I forget it every time, but I'll post hers over here while we're talking so you can see her wonderful thing that she did. I thought was great with the color wheel. And I definitely want to do something like that. Oh, I just had an idea about something I could do with that, but we'll see. Maybe next month you'll see if that idea comes true. But I had decided to do, I was doing this, we started this in March, but I finished it in April. So it was right after St. Patrick's Day. So I had St. Patrick's Day in the green, and purple goes with green. So that's where this came from. And I just wanted simple. So I just did, I think we counted, there's 36 colors all the way, or flowers all the way around. So I did 9 different color palettes with all different purples, and I think I had to pull the purples out of every single one of my brands to get enough variety for, I think these are the 9, and then they repeat. But yeah, so it was very simple, but I wanted some lights and some darks. There's no sparkle, no nothing. So, but the background was all, I think the background is all polychromos, but I honestly don't remember anymore. But the flowers themselves are everything. Polys, Prismas, Lumies, Castle Arts, Black Widows, Erosion, Luminance, Lyra, Rembrandt. Those are all in there. So, but yeah, simple page, but it was effective, and that was a lot of fun. So there's that one. Then the next one was, since that one was a simple one, I wanted something a little more complicated. So I did this one. And these were all, it's almost all my Lumies, my Luminance from Caran d'Ache. But there was something else in there now, and I didn't write that down, so I apologize. I don't remember what it was, but it was mostly the Luminance pencils, and they did fine in this book. Yeah, I think I always love Klara's books, and it was just the right amount of complicated and simple at the same time. Sometimes you want just a lot of little details, but I think I intended for the background to be a little more green, mottled, various colors, but it on screen it looks more all one color than I intended, but I can see it with my eyes. And but yeah, I just like I like how it ended up. It was simple enough, and that bird makes me happy. It makes me smile. I don't love the color it ended up, but that's okay. But I like that cute little smile on his face. Makes me smile. So yeah, there's that one. And that was fun too. I really mostly have fun with every page that I color. And this book I find really interesting because some of the pages I really love how they turned out, and some of them I really don't like at all. This one was ones I don't like it as much, and I don't know why. Because like I said, like, see that one I love those colors. And this one I don't know what was doing in it. I think once I got this, I think I had something in my head that how the suitcase was going to turn out, and then it didn't turn out like that. And then I didn't know what colors to put with it. So I don't think the purple works, but it was fun. It was relaxing, and that's what this hobby is supposed to be about for me. So all these little bunnies just look so happy doing their thing, and so it's fine. It just, I found again, like in this book, that which happens a lot, I get to a certain point, it's like, I have no idea what to do with the rest of this. But that's fine. It's all good. And, you know, this paper isn't the greatest, so try as hard as I could, as hard as I tried, that's how I want to say it. I can't get rid of all the little white flecks in there. Probably if I started, you know, basing things with markers and stuff, I'd get rid of those. But that's just another branch of this hobby I don't think I want to start spending money on. So I think for what it is, it's just going to have to be that way. But anyway, yeah. But I only have like, I think 2 or 3 more pages to finish this book. I didn't start with the coloring. There's a color along, a buddy color. No, color along. I cannot talk today. That Coloring Bumblebee did. And I didn't get in on the beginning of it. So now I'm going through and coloring the last few pages that they had done before I started in. And then when I'm done with it, I'll do a flip through. But should be not. But those are good pages for when I just want something simple and just detailed enough, but not terribly detailed. And I don't know if I said that word, not. I am tripping over my tongue. But anyway, so on to this one. I love this book like I have all of my Rita books so far. And my plan, like the last one, is when I travel places, I will travel with a limited palette. The Europa book, if you'll remember, I did the whole book with just 24 pencils. This one I decided not to do that with. I didn't want to limit myself in the same way with this one because I have another project book that is a limited palette, so I wanted a little more freedom with this one. But when I travel, I do take like 24, 26 pencils, but I'm just not limiting myself to the same ones all the time. And then if I want to color something different while I'm at home, I have given myself the freedom to do that. But one of the goals was to use this as kind of a journal-y kind of book, because I know I'm not going to be able to find one. Well, I can start with this page. This isn't the greatest example, because a lot of them, if you'll remember, they have like this one. There we go. Let's look at this one. They have lines, and I was going to journal in them, and when I take them places, I would journal about where I am. And so like I wanted to have some things done ahead of time. So like last month, I think I showed you these backgrounds, and I thought, well, if I color on one of these pages, then I'll write a little note about where I was when I colored it and all of that. So that goal did not come true so much. I did color while I was in public places, but I didn't write down anything about where I was. So that is one goal that hasn't happened yet, but this was only the first outing, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. But I was in Paris for 2 weeks, so I did color a lot. Just because of the way I travel, I like to have a home base in the evening and just chill. So this is what I would do. So this is one of the pages that I did while I was there. Excuse me. Every page that I'm going to show you today was all done with Prismas, because that's all I took with me. And so they'll all have similar colors, because this is almost all the colors I think that I took. And I just realized once I opened it that I intended to color all these little hatch marky things, and I forgot, so I'll have to do that later, but that's okay, because this book, unlike most of my other pages, I'm kind of a little neurotic about, like, I have to finish one before I start the next one, because I don't like a lot of unfinished pages. It just feels like a weight on my brain that I don't like having them hanging. But I decided to look at this whole book a little differently. So some of them I did, like I said, I had done some of those frames ahead of time, and I just decided that I was going to do an experiment with the whole book and just kind of make it all flexible and consider it all an undone thing. and kind of let that go. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, all that being said is I intended to color these before I finished and I just didn't. But so I'll have a little bit of journaling space in there that I can do something with at some point. But most of these were done in my little apartment that I had rented for the week. So that was fun. Had a beautiful view. Oh, I'll show you the view right here. I'll put this up there for a second, but it was a beautiful, simple little Airbnb that had a beautiful view, lots of fresh sunlight coming in till late at night. And so yeah, I had a lot of fun coloring. I just didn't journal any of it, so that's okay. And I intended to find a little cafe or a little park like I did the last time I had traveled and did something similar. And at that time, on that trip, I found a park that was kind of my park, and I'd color there almost every day. I didn't really find that here. Paris was it's a little more metropolitan, a little more busy than the last city that I did it in. So I didn't do that as much. I did color in a park one day, and I'll show you the picture I did there. It wasn't this one. But this is another page that I did while I was there. I tend to I find myself either doing like limited palettes or all over the place. So this is definitely one that's more like all of the bright colors. Obviously, it's just a little, but you'll see one of the later ones, I did a body color with Susan. I think we're going to do one every month. We just kind of work that way. It's so great having somebody who lives in the same area as you. So if you can find that through Instagram like I did, just randomly, it is very fun just to meet up someplace and just color for an hour or two. So anyway, you'll see it in a second. We did a buddy color on a different page, and we were following the March page from Shell's coloring journey. But we didn't decide to do that until April, so it was okay. We decided we didn't have to do it on time. But anyway, the point is, I liked the clouds that Shelley did so much on that one, because I did that one first before I finished this one, that I did the same kind of color thing on the clouds with the purples and the blues. So that kind of worked out. And I'm seeing that I've got all kinds of little pencil marks. So I'm going to have to try to fix those. But, so yeah, this is just another simple one that, it's just been fun just to try to force myself to mix things together that I wouldn't necessarily mix. This one has a little bit of it, but it kind of forces you a little farther outside, because you got flowers and plaid wheels, and like, what do I do with that? And I don't know. And I couldn't tell, is this supposed to be a river? But she's driving on it, so I decided to make the stones just like have a little blue hue to them. I don't know. But that was fun. I liked the little scarf looking thing. Looked like this little teapot had a beret with a scarf, so I thought that was cute. But I just love all the fun little things about it. I thought maybe I'd color on this one if I was in a little cafe, but I ended up not doing that yet. But there's cafes here in my town that I might do that in. And I'm seeing already that I'm going to have to put some sheet protectors in, because that's already mixing over. I just realized my last project book I used polychromos in, because I knew I would be traveling and I didn't want the pencils I would be traveling in a hot climate and I didn't want the pencils themselves to melt. So this time I thought I'm not going to worry about that, but now I'm realizing that coloring with prismas means the pigment on the page melts more. So look I've got a big mess there. So I might have to consider that and switch away from prismas more again, just to avoid this, because this will definitely probably take me a year or two of traveling different places to or when I say travel, I mean even like my Starbucks here at home, but it just means it's in a bag rumbling all around, so I might have to change my tune. And the other thing that I did is I had it cut and bound, which I've done before with some other books, but I think the difference is in the past, I worked at a job where I had access to an industrial cutter, so I could cut it as close to the edge as possible. And I had a couple other books done. I had my small victories done at the same time, and they cut off way more. Look at that. They cut off way more than I think I would have if I had. I know these drawings were close to the edge, but I think if it was me cutting it off, I would have cut off way less. So I am a little disappointed. That's not so bad in here, but I just noticed that in some of these, it cut off way more than I realized. So I don't know. I might have to. And I also have heard that the French version of this book has nicer, well, has different wider paper. Some people really like this, and I don't mind it. But I think if I'm going to do something, if I'm going to get this book again, I might try something different and then just not worry about this. When I'm traveling, though, it's so much easier to do this than try to find, but they just did, unfortunately, cut off way more than I anticipated. So that is not here nor there about anything with my April coloring. But so pages like this, it doesn't matter so much. But some of them, you'll see, did cut off a little more. So that was a long time on that one page. Talking nothing about this page. But, and I just saw I missed some of those circles. Well, like I said, this book is not going to be finished until I go through and make sure every page is done. So the next page I did was this little cute one, cute little queen bee gathering her flowers. I like trying to do a limited palette within a limited palette. So these were some of the colors that I had with me on my trip. And this is one that I started coloring in the park. And I don't think I took any pictures at that park, but it was on the Canal St. Martin, which I had never seen before. So that was kind of fun. And it was a nice sunny day. It was beautiful weather while I was there. I was so fortunate to be able to go there for work and then be able to extend my stay just for stuff like this and just relax. So yeah, I really like that one a lot. I like the little bees. They're very simple. 3 colors, orange, yellow, and black. Well, and then some different colors for the wings. But yeah, so that was fun. I like the way that one turned out. Simple, but I like it. And then this one is the buddy color that I did with Susan that that we both took inspiration from Shell's coloring journey. And we both decided we were going to emulate our Shell's colors as much as we wanted and then modify what we wanted. So I'm going to put Susan's here. I love what she did with the sky going from, it's like she said her family was starting out early in the morning, so the sky was darker behind them and they're driving into the day for their adventure, so it's sunnier on the left side. So I loved that about that. And I did try to, because we started this before I left on my trip and I finished it. I think I finished it after my trip. Yeah, I did. But so I colored a lot of this while I was in Paris, so that was fun. So I had my limited palette, but I tried to copy Shell's really as much as possible, but I wanted to change up some of the things here, and some of the things on the sky are a little different, but for the most part, I tried to get as close as I could with the pencils that I had. I think I extended the yellow of the sky down a little farther than Shelley did. And I'm discovering that the pinks in here, I think I knew this, are bleeding through the white pen. So I might have to try to find a different white pen to try to whiten those up again. But that pink isn't looking bad. So maybe I'll leave it. I don't know. But yeah, I love the way this page turned out. I loved Shelley's inspiration for the sky. It was not anything like I ever would have, the sky and the clouds. It's not anything like I ever would have thought of on my own, but I really love the way it turned out. I probably would have taken more time to blend some of those together, but my style of coloring usually is, once I'm done, I'm done. And I'm ready to move on. So I think it turned out really nice. And thank you, Shelley, for the coloring and the model and the inspiration to try some different things. Yeah, so I'm a fan of that. So as you can see, I started on this one the other day at my cafe, a cafe here at home. One challenge I do have, I think, with this book is there's some things that I'm just not sure how to deal with, because I don't think this is supposed to be water all the way down, but do I draw my own line there and transition from the water to the ground, or are these rocks sitting up in the water? I don't know. I haven't decided for sure how to transition from the water down to here. And then what is this? Is this another rock right here? I'm going to treat it like a rock. Or maybe that's just a wave. Maybe that's more water. maybe I'll do it. I don't know. Anyway, because they're a little more abstract, you know, things in front of other things that don't, you know, don't. It's more like a more collage-y almost in some of them, so they really don't make sense to my brain that wants rules. I did see a Renoir exhibit in Paris, and I think I'm learning that I love Impressionists because it inspires me to be less literal when I do my own art. And so things like this are stretching me. I will figure that out in my own way. I'm just not exactly sure how yet. But yeah, it's anyway, all that being said is I love that page. And this is one that I had colored the background before I left, and intended, you know, left like, well, maybe I'd be in a park and I'd hear some music playing and it would, you know, match this. But I just randomly picked it, and it's really funny because sometimes I'll start on things like I really at the beginning was treating this just as a background. It didn't exist. And so I was like, when I saw the page to color, I didn't really think about this. I just saw this. And I want a red guitar. So sometimes that's how I get inspired to start things. So I made the guitar red with the reds that I had. And then I was like, okay, well, he needs blue jeans. And then I realized, oh shoot, I got the purple and the red and the blue. What do I do with this shirt? And so, then it's like, oh, okay, I don't think all of these things go well together. But by then it was too late and it was all already done. And so it's like, well, we're just going to do it. So I just tried to use some of the same colors here to tie it together. And then the bird, it's like, I didn't know what, this is just one of those that I didn't really know what I was doing. Now, the one thing I will say on this whole page that I love is this little cloud thing. And this came again from the inspiration from Shelley's page. And I just took it, you know, further with more blues and stuff in it. So I really do love the way actually that cloud looks. I wish I would have blended it more, but I had too many layers in already. But hi, baby. Oh, she's nuzzling the camera. Okay. Anyway, so I really do love the cloud, and I'm gonna play. Okay, you can't cover up when I'm showing the people. Anyway, so that is what that page is ready for me to journal in at some point, and it's fine. It's just I left this rough just because it kind of felt like denim texture. I just don't love the way all these colors are just kind of, they don't really go together in my brain, but that's fine. So then the one other thing to show you in this book is that one thing that did start out exactly as I planned was as in my last book, my last project book, the Europa one, I had dedicated a 2-page spread to anytime people, either friends of mine or people that I knew, or even random strangers, you know, if they either asked me about it, usually it's a stranger who says, oh, what are you doing there? And then I'll tell them about it. Or if I'm coloring with someone or even my family members, I'll have them color a piece of it. So Susan and I, when we got together before I left, I had her do the inaugural little coloring on here. So thank you, Susan, for contributing, to being the first contributor to my book. So that it went as planned. But then my whole trip, nobody ever did mention it. So I didn't get any more from France while I was there, but that's okay. Because it's not a requirement. It's just a kind of a way to remember interactions that I have with people. So I think with the last book, I didn't show you any of that until when it was all done. But I think this time what I will do is show you each piece that happens each month. And I usually will take a picture of the person while they're coloring, which I did. And I usually share it on my stories with on Instagram, but I haven't done that yet. So I will do that sometime coming up soon with, I'll put Susan's picture here. And maybe, just fill you in, if we had an interesting conversation. Hi, baby. She's playing with something over there. I don't know what, but sorry about that. But, you know, cute little kitties, never hurt anything. But anyway, so probably as I get more contributors, I'll do that at the end of when I share this book each month. And then hopefully it will all get filled up. And if not, I have a plan for that, like I did with the last one. And that's it. That is all I have for this month. And I think that's plenty. And I will see you soon. Bye.